Hello and welcome back. Another week, another chapter of the Charm Offensive. It is another shorter chapter today. Not the shortest chapter in existence, but a fairly short one. I feel like we've gone short, last... I'm like going back in my head. The week before last was like a 20-30 minute chapter, like episode that we did, and last week was like an hour. I wonder what we'll be at today. To be fair, I circled a lot in this chapter. Things were going down, things were going crazy. Like, this chapter was really good. I enjoyed it so much. I like had no idea where it was going the whole time. I was like, holy shit, are we gonna get certain like reveals or like people dropping different like I was like, I don't know where it's going, but I was fucking invested. I was loving it. I was loving every second. So basically we should just get into it, I think, because I'm too excited to not go straight in. But like and subscribe, that would always be wonderful. Other than that, we've got week 3, chapter 4, week 3. So Charlie's having a rough time. Well, yes. I was like, no, but yes. He can't really sleep at the moment. He's having his time because you would think it would be due to all the stress of the Ever After franchise household. Things are going down. Things have been quite stressful for him. You know, lots of emotions and feelings. Women fighting over him, fighting each other too. Like, these ladies are not like super present in the story, but wow, do we know they are fighting, which I mean makes great reality TV, do not get me wrong, but I'm kind of sitting there like, holy shit, what the fuck, y'all doing a lot, you know what? I'm like, y'all need to calm down. It's not that stressful. He's not gonna pick you, sorry. In the end, no. Well, I don't believe it. In my heart of hearts, he picks Dev. But this chapter really does feel more like he is learning some things about himself, exploring some things about himself, with himself, by himself, but thinking, we'll get it. I'm like teasing literally like the next 4 pages. But we should get into the, I love the way, who wrote this? Allison, writes these bits, and this is the first one basically, he's reading Dev's script. Charlie realizes he has never read a story about 2 men falling in love before. He pushes himself back against the headboard and draws his knees up to his chest. There is a foreign pressure in his stomach, but he ignores it, completely engrossed in Dev's story. The screenplay ends the only way it would, with an epic kiss and a happily ever after, and when it's over, Charlie stares at the blank white space at the end of the PDF for a long time. Even though it's the middle of the night, he feels very compelled to talk about it. Right now. Just the way he's like, he keeps like feeling things and ignoring them. We love that he is not listening to his body. It's crazy because he's very like, oh, I do exercise because I know that helps me. I do meditation because I know that helps me. Like, I listen to what my body needs and I do these things for like fitness and like mental well-being. But when it comes to like feeling love and emotion, he's like, well, I've got all these feelings and things are happening, but I'm not going to listen to them. I'm going to ignore them. I don't know what they mean. And I'm interpreting them as other things. I just love that he seems very in tune and in key with some things, and then others completely oblivious, which is fine. It's just hilarious that that's the way he goes. But I was going to say sneaks. He doesn't sneak into Dev's bedroom. He like goes in. Dev's, of course, awake. And he's like, I will just read it. I was going to summarize. I can't. I read your script. Oh, you did. Dev pushes up his glasses with 2 fingers. What did you think? Charlie smiles. I loved it. Dev doesn't let himself smile back, like he's afraid to let Charlie see how much those words mean to him. Only the tiny curl in the corner of his mouth gives it away. You did? It's so good. It's better than good. It's fucking amazing. And I can't believe you just said fuck. You don't need Maureen's help. You should totally sell your script. Well, in order to sell the script, you have to sort of let other people have read it. Charlie shifts on the bed, so he's sitting cross-legged, like Dev, their knees forming two corners of a parallelogram. Also, sorry, complete random side note. Parallelogram? Beautiful word. Just rolls off the tongue. Who's read it? Well, there's you. Dev holds up one finger to count it off. And then there's you. Charlie is the only person Dev let read his script. He doesn't know what to do with that revelation. He's not the person people open up to, and he's not the person you trust all of yourself. Oh my god, sorry, we'll go into this quickly. The interesting that Charlie is like, oh, I've never read a story, which he talks about more, but like, he's never read a story like this, you know, a gay story, a romance. And for him to have kind of no interest in romance, or as we figure out, a romantic comedy, and reading that script and resonating with it so much and loving it for not being a very romance person is interesting, because it's the first one we've kind of seen him be drawn to of romance, and it's between two men. Interesting? I think so. I think so. I've never read a story about that before. You mean a romantic comedy? Charlie pulls a loose thread at Dev's comforter. No, about gay people, Dev supplies. He starts to stand up. Sorry. Dev reaches out for his legs to pin him in place, and something hot comes to life deep in his stomach. Like he's taken a shot of bourbon. Why are you sorry? Sit back down. Charlie should not sit back down. He should never have come in here, and he feels weirdly vulnerable in his own oversized Stanford t-shirt and a pair of sweatpants, sitting on Dev's bed, so close to Dev. No, I should... Charlie, Dev says, holding those two syllables on his tongue like they're breakable. Why did you come bursting into my room at 3 a.m? Because I finished your script. Dev leans forward, and the loose collar on the Leland Barlow shirt slides to reveal the slope of his neck where it meets his swimmer's shoulders. The dip of his clavicle looks deep enough to swallow Charlie's whole hand. And well, why were you reading my script at 3 a.m? I couldn't sleep. Well, that is true. That is true. But interesting how much you notice of Dev and all of Dev. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love how like subtle it. Like it's not subtle, but it's subtle. Do you know what? It's like in your face, but it feels subtle because it's not like Charlie's not saying these things. He's only feeling them himself. So in a way, it's personal just to him, but we get to know it. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. So they start talking, but they go back to the women talking about the romance. Do you see yourself developing real feelings for anyone? Come on, Charlie, you can talk to me about this stuff. Not just as your producer, but as your friend, he falters. Are we friends? I'm pretty sure I'm your only friend. I have other friends, besides your publicist. I have one friend, he corrects. Dev laughs, and the combination of Dev's laughter and the sleep deprivation makes Charlie feel drunk. Dev leans in even closer. I'm going to say this as your friend. I think you've gotten really good at talking yourself out of your feelings. Dev places a hand across Charlie's chest, and the trapdoor appears again south of his sternum. Charlie's heart falls through, crashing in his stomach. 1 Mississippi. Dev talks quickly like he's afraid Charlie is going to pull away. Charlie isn't going to pull away. Dev's hand is on his chest, and he's not about to pull away. Try listening to your heart. You have some amazing women left on this show. You deserve happiness. Dev is just so cute. Like, he is just he's so, like, here for him in such a way where it's completely like, you know, I'm here for you to find love. I'm not putting on, like, we know what Charlie's thinking, like, he's realizing some things, but Dev's still completely on the, I'm here to help you find love with women. We're just mates, you know? Try listening to your heart. Dev's still got his hand pressed onto Charlie's chest, burning him through a thin layer of his t-shirt. 2 Mississippi. Dev swallows, and his Adam apple hitches. 3. Charlie swallows, and down an elegant... Wait, Charlie follows the swallow down the elegant column of Dev's throat. Imagine following it all the way down to the length of Dev's torso, to the patch of hair on his stomach, visible in the place where his t-shirt was bunched at the waist. He's not sure why he's thinking about Dev's stomach, or how he knows Dev's shirt has crept up in the corner. Except, he does know. He knows as soon as he read Dev's script, a slow sinking realization that only became clear when he saw it mirrored back to him on the page. The way it feels when Dev touches his hair, the way he feels when Dev touches his hand, the way he feels every single time this man touches him. Those feelings didn't make sense because he'd never felt them before. Now they make perfect sense, and God, he wishes he could go back to his ignorance. He wishes he could stop thinking about all of it, wishes he could stop thinking about tracing the imaginary line from Dev's slightly parted lips down the length of his body, and he wishes just picturing doing it didn't bring the pressure back to his lower stomach in the way he now understands too well. He leaps off the bed, positioning away from Dev's view. The way he's A, realizing things about himself, and B, is like sexually nervous or just nervous, and like obviously to start figuring that stuff out would be a lot to deal with. Like when those realizations, I feel like it's like, obviously I can't say this for certain, but I could imagine when they come at an older age, they would be somewhat like, oh shit, like what the fuck's going on, especially when someone like Charlie hasn't really thought about anyone in any form or capacity. So like, even, you know, he hasn't even had the feeling of like, maybe like women aren't right. He kind of was just like, people aren't right for me. But he just followed this generic heterosexual like line of, I'll date women and I guess that just doesn't work. So love doesn't work. But then there's the way they talk about, you know, he's, you know, falls through the stomach, the trapdoor, the nervousness, the hotness. It's like crazy for Charlie, but it's also so cute the way he gets around Dev. And the end of Charlie's section for this chapter, a little bit interesting, but I had to read it out. You know what? I'll read a little bit more. And holy shit. Dev's knees and Dev's mouth and Dev's Adam apple. He tries thinking about Daphne's pretty blue eyes instead, but he can only see Dev's dark ones, peering intensely at him behind the glass. He tries to conjure an image of Angie's soft body, but is superimposed with Dev's wide shoulders, and the slenderness of his hips, and the sharp points, and the beautiful brown skin, and the smell of him. He doesn't let himself think about what it means, or why he feels this way. He imagines Dev beside him, Dev's hands instead of his own, and that's all that it takes to send him over the edge. He shoves his mouth into the crook of his left elbow, so he doesn't make a sound. An hour later, after he's showered, he enjoys the first night of good sleep he's had in days. So basically, he went back to his room and masturbated. And I love how he was like, fuck, I can't do it. There's someone else in the house, but I've got to get this out of the... Like, I've just got to get it done. I'm pretty sure he was kind of like, what the fuck? I have an erection. Charlie. Oh, it's like hilarious, but like, so, like, sweet, but also like, it's a multitude of things at once. I just love that he's like, I try to think, but Dev only pops in his mind. And he's like, oh God, I can't, I will. I like it. It's great. Oh, sleep fantastic. Because obviously that probably would have like released a lot of his stress. You know, it's good to get you to sleep. So I'm happy Charlie at least got some sleep, even though it was probably like 4 a.m. But some sleep is better than no sleep. So we switch to Dev's perspective. Dev is a bit, like, hard on himself because he thinks he pushed a lot too hard with Charlie. But, to be fair, he was pushing about things that Charlie wasn't even thinking about. He did not care about the things he was pushing about. So Dev's feeling a little down about that, and then he realizes, Charlie is not the same. They're not on the same page anymore. They're back to sort of week one. They're not in their friends. They're kind of awkward around each other. And he's like, fuck, I fucked up. Even though we know that Charlie is thinking whole different things. And they're like, what the fuck? It's like, Dev's back on set. They're going for a different night, or, of filming and shooting. And he's like, oh, God, like, things are going on. So he goes to visit the ladies. The ladies are, well, Megan, I'm pretty sure she's the evil one, is starting shit. He's like, God, why can't I just catch a break? Dev's like, I just want some fucking peace and quiet for once in my life. But they yell at him over the ear radio. That's definitely not what it's called. And we're like, we've got a situation with Charlie. Like, quite a situation. What he finds is worse than anything he could have envisioned. Charlie is standing in the middle of the room, wearing nothing but a plastic crown and the smallest pair of black boxer briefs. He is basically naked, and the muscles of his abdomen are funneling down to a V pointing towards his crotch, like a neon flashing arrow. The sight is, in a word, pornographic. Dev shouldn't look, but he does, at all of Charlie. So much tan skin, strong thighs, faint freckles along his collarbone, muscles reduplicating down his abdomen, and still those big grey eyes, so innocent and sweet and contradictory to everything else. Ryan conveniently steps in between Dev and his view of Charlie's obliques. He's refusing to wear the Prince Charming suit, Ryan screams, as if Charlie isn't there to explain himself. Charlie chokes. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. If you're sorry, put on the suit. It's wool. I'm sorry, but I just can't. I don't wear wool. So many things. We know that Charlie will definitely has in different accounts a lot of different sensory issues. So, also, going forward, Dev's like, it says on his sheet he doesn't wear wool. So fuck these people. They didn't read his sheet. He doesn't wear wool. If that's a problem for him, get my boy another suit. Because he doesn't deserve to be uncomfortable. Because he's uncomfortable in his brain at the moment. Because a lot of things are happening. And he just needs some comforting clothes. And the description of Charlie by Dev. Because we've been seeing, like, a lot of Charlie been like, oh, Dev's, sharp features, dark eyes, and we talk about Charlie and his biceps and certain parts of him, but to have that and just like to figure out his body a bit was like, I liked it. I liked the description, but it's also just good to like have that mental image. I like it. Well, he said it was pornographic, not me. So he described it, not me. It's not my fault. I was just an innocent bystander in this read-along. So they get him a new suit. They're like, here, go off, son. Go deal with the ladies. Go dance with them. They're at a ball. All the ladies in there in like, Disney-inspired dresses. It's a fun time. But coming up, I hope you're prepared. I think it is the longest consecutive amount of things I've circled because these pages need to be read. They don't need to be, but I want to, and I think if we're here together, I think this is how we do things here. I have to read these things out because they need to be re-spoken by me, reheard by you, because they are just so good. And this is a long one. This is nearly to the end of the chapter. Like 4 pages-ish, but I'll do my best to not screw up. It is pure gold. And then we'll talk about it. Maybe I'll stop in the middle, break it up a little, but basically, one of the ladies, Daphne, gets Charlie alone. Wants to have some alone time. So it's good for a little bit. Anyway, we just have to start reading. I don't know what is in the mood with me today. If you made it this far, congrats, because I'm going crazy today. But this chapter has just like sent me somewhere else. Like I'm overjoyed by this chapter. Okay, let's get the reading voice on. Let's get ready to read. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Yes, of course. I just wanted to talk. Daphne clears her throat. We haven't had much time tonight, and I want to make sure you know how much I like you. Oh, Charlie visibly relaxes. I like you too, Daphne. She pushes her hair behind her ears. I wanted to show you how much I like you, she says, and she's trying so hard to sound brave. She puts her hand on Charlie's thigh, and Dev understands exactly what is about to happen. He has a weird impulse to shout cut, to intervene, to rescue Charlie and Daphne both, but Daphne is pulling him into a passionate kiss, and Charlie doesn't look like he needs to be rescued. He meets every ounce of Daphne's fervor with his own. Then moving too quickly, she slides her hand up to his groin. He pulls her on top of his lap. His hands are in her hair, around her waist, up the front of her pink dress. Finally, Ryan exhales quietly. These two are giving us something we can sell. Cut! Dev wants to scream. Someone call cut! So, I will split it up. Cute Dev, he knows it's not right. Something about him knows it's not right. But the fact that, like, Charlie, by all means of how we know him, would fucking hate this with Daphne. Daphne? But I think there is a part of him that is trying to prove something to himself by really going through with this. Obviously, we see how it goes, but I think the reason he is going in so hard to this make-out sesh with Daphne is he's trying to change something. Maybe prove something he's not, or prove something that he is. Like, he's gonna find out either way through this. 4 days ago, he told Charlie to listen to his heart, and here Charlie is, doing just that. And it's good. It's right. It's the way things are supposed to be. Charlie is their prince, and Daphne is the perfect princess, and this is all how it's supposed to go. So why does Dev feel like everything is terribly wrong? Jules reaches over and gives Dev's arm a puppy scratches. This is good. Wait, sorry, Charlie ducks his head away from Daphne's, hands on her waist, sliding her off his lap. Daphne looks confused as she adjusts her clothes. What's wrong? I'm sorry, but Charlie clears his throat. He has lipstick on his chin dimple. I was trying, but I don't think I'm sorry, but you what? Daphne pushes impatiently. You were trying to what, Charlie? Sweat coats Charlie's hairline, and he turns to find Dev behind the cameras. Daphne turns to look at Dev too, and it's an obvious fourth wall break, but no one calls cut. Daphne reaches up for Charlie's face to pull his gaze back to her. I'm trying to, she says. Just talk to me. What's wrong? I can't, Charlie snaps, and he's off the bench, lunging towards Dev, confused. One of the cameras swings around as Charlie catapults into Dev's arms, and then Charlie's weight is propelling them both backwards, towards a single-stall bathroom. They trip, half fall, then Charlie slamming the bathroom door closed behind them, cutting them off from the cameras. Charlie tries to claw at his mic belt to turn it off, but his entire body is shaking. He turns to dry heave at the sink. Oh, he's just... So much is going on for him, and I don't think he knows how to deal with it. Oh, my heart, pours out for Charlie so much. Dev has seen Charlie build towards a dozen panic attacks, but he's never seen him like this. Dev is paralyzed, with no idea how to help. Outside the bathroom, someone pounds on the door, and Daphne's voice floats through. Charlie, come out, talk to me. Dev ignores the knocking, and Daphne and Ryan screaming in his earpiece. All he can see is Charlie, shaking, choking, heaving. He finally springs to action. Breathe, he whispers, as he puts a hand on Charlie's back. Don't touch me, Dev! Charlie explodes in a voice Dev's never heard before. Dev pulls back as if Charlie burned him. Okay, I'm sorry. Charlie drops his head. Wait, no, I'm sorry. He tears at his hair. I'm so sorry, Dev. Shit, I'm sorry. It's okay. We're okay. Dev puts one hand tentatively on Charlie's shoulder, then another. Tell me what you need. The support that Dev gives is beautiful. My heart quite literally hurts for Charlie. And everyone's like pounding. He just needs time and space and like a gay awakening, but like time and space from everyone else. Why can't they? I get it. It's TV. They need to be like fast paced and moving, but like just give the man some breathing room. I need. Take your deep breaths, Dev says. Quiet but firm. They take 3 perfect synchronized deep breaths together. Tell me what you need, Charlie. I need. He fumbles for words, and when he can't seem to find any, he falls forward until his chest bumps against Dev's. He doesn't write himself. Instead, he grabs onto the back of Dev's t-shirt with both hands, presses his forehead into Dev's throat, telling Dev what he needs is in the only way he can communicate right now. He needs to be hugged, held. He's such a darling. Charlie is heavy, but Dev wants to be able to hold him up. That's his job, to help Charlie, to support him through this in whatever way he can. The only thing that like hurts sometimes is when Dev is like, it's my job, it's what I have to do. You've already said that you guys are friends. It's not your job, it's like what you want to do. I know it's your job because you also get paid for it, and that's where it becomes complicated, but I'm like, say it's what you want to do. Because I know you're a kind person who would want to help. I don't know, it's just a small part that just like weirds me out. He wraps one arm around Charlie's wide shoulders, and with the other winds his fingers into Charlie's hair, massaging his scalp until Charlie relaxes against him. Every bit of tension that leaves Charlie's body somehow ends up in Dev's, until he's standing there rigid and stiff-limbed, muscles shaking from the effort. But it's fine. He can bear it. I'm screwing everything up, Charlie pants against Dev's clavicle. Oh love, you're not screwing anything up, he says, and he means for the oh love to come out in the same patronizing, joking tone he used earlier, but the situation is too different, and the words feel too different. Charlie shifts his arms so he's looking up at Dev, grey eyes and freckles, too pretty and too close. I am screwing it up, Charlie whispers. Worse than you know. Well then, we'll figure it out together. But you can't close up again, okay? Charlie nods. You've been so far away all week. Dev has no idea what drives these words out of his mouth, except it's week 3, and he's so desperate to make this season work, so desperate to help Charlie find love, so desperate for this story to have the right ending, and the ending Charlie deserves. He thinks about Charlie on the kitchen stool, telling Dev he has OCD, like that somehow makes him less worthy. Charlie's sitting cross-legged on his bed at 3 a.m, so terrified of feeling his feelings. Charlie wearing nothing, asking what do I look like? And Charlie right here, right now, in his arms, being so vulnerable, and quite suddenly, it's Dev who's noticeably feeling his feelings. His feelings are pressed firmly against Charlie's waist. We've got a little bit more to read, but we'll just read it and then I'll go back to it. Charlie freezes and Dev freezes, and then Dev unfreezes, trying to disentangle their limbs without giving away how utterly humiliated he is. Because he's 28, not 14, but Charlie doesn't make it easy, hands still pressed onto the small of Dev's back, and Dev prays that Charlie hasn't noticed. So Dev has an erection. I think that's just like hilarious. That's that's kind of the last, basically, Charlie just goes back out. They barge in, Charlie goes back out, they finish the shoot. Dev goes and has a drink to forget what's happening, or kind of not know what's happening, and it's all just like everything's happening, and they're both finding, like, the way that Charlie is like realizing all these things and figuring it out, and they're all getting erection, like the erection game is strong this chapter, and I'm pretty sure that's what he meant. He's like, I'm embarrassed, and also it's pressed against his waist. It has to be, it has to be. Oh my god, he's like, I'm not I should be able to control this. Darling Dev, hot man's in your arms and you've emotionally connected with him. You said he's too pretty and too close. I think you can let yourself go on that one. It's a bit embarrassing. Like, if you're in that situation, yes, embarrassing, but it makes sense. It makes sense. Even if you're 28, I guess they do have that, like, you know, he's like, that's my friend, and it's also a person I'm working with, but you can't deny that connection that they have, that, like, deep emotional connection that for Charlie is important because it's one of the first people he's connected to and talked about feelings with and opened up with. And for Dev, it's the same but different because he knows that he is the only one that Charlie has opened up to. They share that, like, special bond that is more than who they have worked, like, they're working together. It's more than a friendship. Even if it didn't have the relationship elements, it's something more there. It's still a first. It's still something, like, beautiful and precious. It is a connection that I think is friendship, but also transcends it. It's, you know, to be open and vulnerable, especially with someone who's never opened up before, I think there's just something so special there. So obviously there is going to be something more, even if it wasn't in a romantic setting. I think you just, like, with people you open up with and bond with, there is something there that is higher. It's, you know, friendship connects people, but that connects you on a different sort of plane. Am I getting a bit, like, hippy-dippy spiritual with this? Yes. Do I usually subscribe to that sort of... I like that thought process. I don't usually go down that route, but in this instance, I completely wholeheartedly agree what I'm saying with. I think there is, you know, even if it's, you know, there's probably a scientific way to explain it, but I think there's something higher there. There's something, like, psychological there that, you know, there's something to that of opening up and opening yourself to someone that connects you on a different form. I think it is above friendship, and there's something beautiful about it. And I love that connection that they share. I think that's what makes their relationship so strong and so, like, endearing to us as the reader, because, you know, even without a friendship, a relationship, they have that they share. I think that's one of the biggest hooks of them in this book. But I don't know. It was such a beautiful and fun chapter, but also such, like, a cute and funny chapter. So horny, so full of erections, but also so deep. Like, I like how it was so many things at once, and it was short, but there was so much there. A fantastic chapter that I really enjoyed. Do let me know what you think. What do you think about friend? How does that work? Do you agree with my thought process? How do you think about that? What was your favorite moment of this chapter? Do let me know. But for now, I can't wait to get into the next one. I'm very excited to read more. I hope you enjoyed and are having a great day, and I hope to see you in the next one.